Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I've brought you one of my favorite comedies starring our very own Jim Carrey. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls was released in 1995, and it follows Ace Ventura, a pet detective who's tasked to retrieve a missing white bat from a village located in Africa. The bat was offered up as a wedding dowry for an intertribal marriage, so Ace must find the sacred bat to keep the two tribes from waging war against each other. The movie opens with a red helicopter flying over the mountains of the Himalayas, looking to airlift the last passengers. The pilot finds an eccentric pet detective, Ace Ventura, climbing a mountain and hopes to find a raccoon. He advises Ace that it's wise to leave the raccoon on its own and get on the chopper, but Ace remains adamant on saving the raccoon's life. Accompanied by his pet capuchin monkey Spike, he climbs the mountaintop and finds the raccoon stranded on the mountain across from him. Using a harness, Ace approaches the raccoon, and despite the heroic attempt, the raccoon's tiny little hand slips away from Ace Ventura and the poor raccoon falls to its death amidst the wilderness of the Himalayas. The scene then cuts to Fulton Greenwall, an English correspondent working for the consulate of Benai Province, who's in search of Ace, arrives at a Tibetan monastery. Turns out the failed rescue mission severely affected Ace and he fell into depression. However, as told by the head of the monastery, Ace was able to find peace after joining them, all thanks to the power of meditation. Moving on to Greenwall, he tells Ace that he's here to get his help in finding a lost animal, to which Ace replies that his request is similar to an intestine, stinky and dangerous. Green then offers a handsome sum of $20,000, which Ace immediately declines, stating that he considers himself a child of light, who no longer finds the earthly money appealing. Just then, the monastery head interjects and persuades Ace to use his talents and not let it go to waste. But Ace reminds the monk that he's yet to attain the omnipresent supergalactic oneness. The monk goes, "Here you go. You have it now." Turns out the monk is just desperate to get rid of Ace, so much so he even sacrifices his medallion of spiritual achievement, which took him a whole 80 years to achieve. So Ace takes the offer and the whole monastery erupts in joy, popping champagne, dancing and singing, just so happy to have gotten rid of Ace Ventura. With that, Ace Ventura sets out on his next adventure, but not before trying to break the world slinky record from the top of the very long monastery stairs. After just failing to break the record, Ace and Greenwall get on the plane, where Greenwall briefs Ace about the rescue mission, explaining that the Wakati are a peaceful tribe whose sacred bat has vanished, which they believe is due to a curse that has fallen on their village. Moreover, the daughter of the Wakati chief is set to wed the first son of the Wachutu tribe, and the sacred animal is supposed to be used as a dowry. If the animal's not recovered, the result will be a merciless slaughter of the Wakati. A very risky mission, and a lot on the line here for Ace Ventura and the Wakati tribe. They finally land in the Benai province in the fictional African country, Nibia. While heading to the consulate, Ace shows his reckless driving skills by crashing the Jeep into the forest multiple times, rolling it over, and parking it outside the consulate in a pretty rough state. There he meets the consul, Vincent Cadby, who's seen spanking a horse to do some tricks. Now being the animal lover that Ace Ventura is, he introduces himself to the consul by spanking him, asking him how it felt, which needless to say leaves a very bad first impression. Vincent then introduces Ace to Borton Quinn, the owner and adopter of a safari park, who fashions a black raven pet on his shoulder. However, instead of interacting with him, Ace is disturbed to see a woman wearing a wrap made from a dead animal. When Ace calls them out for harming innocent and defenseless animals, the woman replies saying that one should enjoy the fruits of nature. Then Ace gives them a taste of their own medicine, knocking out the woman's date and donning him as a fancy wrap in front of the whole crowd. Exasperated by Ace's embarrassing behavior, Vincent takes him to the projection room where he introduces him to Hitu, chief of tribal security in the province, and shows him the suspected individuals who might have stolen the sacred animal. However, during the meeting, Ace keeps making moves on the projector screen, further infuriating Vincent, who snaps and clarifies that the wedding is in 4 days, and he's counting on him to save the province from bloodshed by finding the sacred animal. While heading to the village, Greenwall warns Ace about the hostility of eastern lowland gorillas, as it's mating season. When he stops at a place to rest, Greenwall talks about the sacred bat. Ace is shocked at the revelation, as he did not know that the sacred animal is a bat. It turns out that Ace is afraid of bats, as he finds them lifeless, filthy animals with beady eyes and clawed feet. However, as a being of light, Ace must show compassion for all living things, and he decides to overcome his fear of bats. Greenwall then introduces him to the people of the Wakati tribe, and Ace Ventura starts being himself, causing a scene and not caring for much. Later, he meets the chief of the tribe who is pleased to see him. Ace promises to find the sacred bat and save the tribe from collapsing apart. In return, the chief and his son Oda spit on Ace's face, which is apparently the Wakati's tribe of showing affection. Then, Ace does them one better. He accumulates all the mucus in his mouth from every corner, not leaving a piece behind, and then showers it upon the chief, Oda, and Greenwall, claiming that it's mucus that binds us. Gross. Moving on, the chief shows Ace the sacred bat's chamber, and Greenwall explains that the sacred bat's name is called Shikaka, and that it must be found before the princess's wedding. At night, there's some sort of party or a welcome ceremony for Ace, where everyone gets distracted by the sexy dance of seduction. Ace Ventura gets to work, trying to find any clue to the missing bat. Luckily, he finds a feather that he believes might lead him to Shikaka, the sacred bat. But before he could set out on his search mission, he gets approached by the Wakati princess, the one who's going to get married. She quite comfortably opens up to Ace, telling him that she's afraid she won't be able to please her soon-to-be husband. Ace feels attracted to her when she seduces him, but he soon remembers his oath to celibacy, which means he will not indulge in sexual behavior with any woman. The princess, however, doesn't quit and drops her dress, but Ace still remains calm and brushes off the princess. Ace surprisingly has some very good self-control, or should we thought. Ace later befriends Oda, who also assists him in his search for the sacred bat. Greenwall guides him to the sacred caves, where Ace finds another black feather and suspects Quinn has something to do with Shikaka's abduction, as the feather is the same as Quinn's black raven. Greenwall warns him that Quinn is a very powerful man, but Ace considers himself a master of disguises and decides to investigate Quinn. So the next day, Ace spies on Quinn's movement, and I have to say he does a really good job at it, even tying himself to Quinn's car with a parachute harness to follow him to his safari park. And if all that wasn't enough, he then gets inside of a mechanical rhino and tries to get close to Quinn in hopes of hearing his conversation. But unfortunately, this brilliant plan doesn't go that smooth, as Ace starts to feel the heat inside the rhino and the oxygen is also running out. And adding to the misery, the rhino malfunctions, causing Ace Ventura to have to look for an alternative way out of the rhino. And what he finds: Ace slowly starts to make his way out of the mechanical rhino through its butthole. And those who get to witness this bizarre, whatever you want to call it, start to believe that the rhino is giving birth. But when Ace completely gets out of the rhino, they all run for their life, and I would have too. Anyway, Ace later kidnaps Quinn and interrogates him about the missing bat. When Quinn refuses to answer any of his questions, he starts to torture him. Not physical, but pure mental torture by rubbing a knife and a fork on an empty plate and poking into his own eyes. Finally, Quinn decides to talk and reveals that he paid a man named Derek McCain to find the bat, thinking that it could be an attraction. However, neither he nor McCain knows where the bat is. After getting the truth, Ace eliminates Quinn as a suspect and sets out to investigate another suspect. And on his way to do so, he gets attacked by a number of poisonous blow darts, which slowly and painfully knocks him out. Luckily, he wakes up next to the Wakati princess taking care of him. She recognizes the darts to be from a Wachudu shaman who's against the intertribal wedding. This leads Ace to suspect the Wachudu shaman might have taken the bat to keep the wedding from happening. Ace later hires Oda as his interpreter, and together they sneak into the Wachudu tribal village. To get to the shaman, Ace decides he must be able to blend in among the tribe, and for that, he has an idea. And thank God he doesn't do blackface. He just wears a tribal mask and tries to act normal among the tribe, but unsurprisingly, he ends up getting caught. And the gruesome Wachudus consider Ace as the White Devil. Ace asks Oda to explain to them in his language that he's not the White Devil and has come in peace, but Oda translates the opposite of it, convincing the tribe that Ace wants to fight them. The chief of the tribe tells him that if he passes all the Wachudu tests, he will not die. Ace agrees and participates in all the weird challenges to gain their trust. He ingeniously passes all of them and is given a final challenge called the Circle of Death to fight a wild warrior who seems harmless and tiny. So Ace initially mocks him, but soon gets beaten to a pulp. In the final move, the warrior throws a spear at one of Ace's legs, causing Ace to cry in pain. In an attempt to help Ace overpower his opponent, Oda throws a spear at him, but that ends up also in Ace's other leg. The crowd, including the tribe's chief, enjoy Ace wailing in pain. They're just too entertained by the crazy reactions of him. So as a gesture of goodwill, the Wachudu befriends Ace and releases him. However, despite the friendship, they declare that if the curse of Shikaka is not lifted by tomorrow morning, they will kill all Wachati and smash Ace's head on a rock. On his way out, the Wachudas once more make fun of Ace by shooting a dart at him. And later on, Ace notices that the dart he was shot with earlier is not the same as he was just shot with a few days ago. This means that the Wachudu shaman did not take the bat, and it was someone else. At the same time, the clever Ace quickly deduces that the dart which shot him earlier was carved from a rare red fungus-bearing alcala. He sends Oda to the village to warn them about Wachudu's upcoming attack. Meanwhile, he himself sends out to the red Akala fields and hopes to find the sacred bat. Eventually, he finds 2 Australian poachers with the bat. To distract them, Ace mimics a silverback's mating call. However, the cunning poachers don't fall for Ace's trick. Moreover, he gets caught, tied to a raft which is slowly approaching a dangerous waterfall. Ace, being the main protagonist, manages to come to shore completely alive. Just then, he encounters a wild crocodile, which turns out to be no match for him as he beats the crap out of it and even puts it in a headlock. After wrestling with the crocodile, he tries to understand the poacher's motive to steal the bat. Moreover, when he finds it difficult to understand, he consults the Grand Abbot via astral projection miles away and find out that the Wakati have guano, which is bat shit. I mean, literally, guano means poo. However, the Grand Abbot reveals that guano is a precious thing that civilized men are after. Curious, Ace rushes to Vincent's house and confronts him about his intentions. It turns out that Vincent wants to take possession of the numerous bat caves containing guano to sell as fertilizer worth billions, but he can't inhabit the area in the presence of the Wakati. This is why he's taken the sacred bat to create a rift between the tribes so they can destroy each other. Ace feels ecstatic to have solved the case and dances out of excitement in front of Vincent. However, Vincent informs him that he was hired as his alibi, which makes him responsible for the crime. As a result, the tribal security chief, Hitu, tries to arrest Ace, but he manages to escape with the help of an elephant. He then gathers all the jungle animals and bursts into Vincent's house while he's berating Hitu for letting Ace get away. The animals turn the house upside down, so being an animal lover really paid off for Ace. Moving on, Vincent tries to shoot Ace but is stopped by Greenwall. While Ace tortures the poachers, Vincent manages to get away with the bat. Ace follows him in a monster truck and ends up getting Vincent's car crashed into a tree. However, the bat gets stuck in the tree. Ace then crashes Vincent's car with the truck, and despite his fear of bats, he grabs it with his bare hands and returns to the tribes seconds before they're about to begin the battle. Oda notices Vincent standing in a corner and provokes the tribe to attack him, lying that he's the White Devil. Meanwhile, Ace manages to secure Shikaka in its sacred chamber, but still feels disgusted having touched the bat. On the other hand, Vincent eludes the tribes and encounters a gorilla, the gender of which I have no clue of. Remember how Greenwall warned Ace about it being mating season? Yeah, so the gorilla has had no action, and Vincent seems to have appeared at just the right time. Finally, the Wakati princess is married and the Wachudu prince, who turns out to be the crazy one that kicked Ace's ass. However, when the prince attempts to consummate his marriage, he freaks out, discovering that his bride is not a virgin. And who could it have been to sleep with the princess before her marriage? Yeah, Ace took her virginity, and the film ends with both tribes chasing Ace. He solved the case, but at what cost? The tribes will never forgive him. So there you go. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed this, please make sure to like the video. It'll really help me get to more of you movie lovers out there. Thank you for watching till the end, and I'll see you in another video.